spoilers ahead for the Galactic Patrol arc of Dragon Ball Super. If you don't know, in the Genki Matsuri, the big Dragon Ball event that just passed, they officially announced the production of the Galactic Patrol arc, which is the next arc of Dragon Ball Super. It is officially getting an anime. The Dragon Ball Super 2 that we've all been waiting for is on its way. There's no date yet, but because it's confirmed and there's already a manga for it, we know what characters we can expect. And in this video, if you haven't read the manga specifically, I wanted to give you some potential characters we could get, the most hype ones, because there is a lot to talk about regarding this arc, and it's one of the longest arcs in Dragon Ball Super regarding the manga, if not the longest arc. If you've read the manga already, let me know in the comment section who you're looking forward to seeing. I have my own personal picks and I'll mention it in the video. I'll talk about their abilities too and what you can expect, because if you haven't read the manga, this arc is definitely more on the creative side of things we've got in Dragon Ball Super. Alright, so the first character we should definitely discuss is Planet Eater Moro. He is the main antagonist of the Galactic Patrol arc, which we are getting animated. The main thing about him is that he's a wizard and he literally lives to absorb energy. The whole thing about him being called Planet Eater Moro is that he absorbs all of the energy off of planets to the point where they no longer exist. Planets are literally food for him, and through absorbing planets, he can live infinitely, as it makes him younger and adding to his lifespan. The energy absorption is not just planets though, he can absorb it from people as well, which is what he does when he encounters Goku and Vegeta, and in their first encounter, he gives them a very hard time. And through absorption, he can also copy abilities. But that's not directly one of his abilities, it's because he absorbed the character called 7-3, who has the ability to copy all the powers of another entity if he touches the back of their neck. As a result, Moro's even able to get Ultra Instinct, which is insane. But the abilities Moro has himself are pretty good. For example, his magic, he has a wizard barrier, can shoot ray blast, fire and flames. I already spoke about the energy absorption. Telekinesis at a pretty high level as well. He's quite insane. This guy would definitely eventually be an Ultra. All the main antagonists get an Ultra. But as a Legends Limited, there's a lot of potential here, as there's also different variations of Moro. As I said, he absorbed the character called 7-3, and as a result he gains the ability to copy other people's powers. So you can imagine he has a lot in his bag. Think of him similar to Boo, but also Cell. Boo in the sense where there's lots of versions of him based on him absorbing people and copying abilities, but Cell in the sense where he has an old form, but also a form you could consider perfect. Overall, a very good antagonist. Looking forward to see him in game. Should have at least 2 Legends Limiteds, a transforming version too, but the Ultra will definitely go crazy. I think this character is very important to mention. The character's name is 7-3. I mentioned him when talking about Moro. This guy shouldn't be a high rarity, so I'm expecting a sparking at least, but he plays as a very important character for the plot because he allows Moro to advance. Like I mentioned earlier, his main thing is that he can actually copy abilities by touching people's necks, the back of it, and he can hold up to 3 entities at one time. For example, Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan, and then use their abilities for up to 30 minutes, and after that 30 minutes is over, he would have to touch the back of their neck again. He's quite an emotionless character, but plays a very important role, like I said, to advance Moro. He copies a lot of abilities, so as a sparking, he could be very creative if they make him just copy characters that you're going up against in PvP, but at the same time they could make him very plain by just taking some of the scenes where he's copied characters and just give him that set kit, which in my opinion is a waste of potential, but he has so much potential that I think even if they did some of what he could do, it would be okay. One of the more interesting characters, but mainly just a plot device. But just to give you some examples of abilities that he's copied: Piccolo's powers, so his special beam cannon, explosive demon wave, Moro's powers, the fire and flames, and even some of Gohan's powers. So although he's not one of the most important, he definitely is cool. Mirror is definitely one of the more interesting characters in the Moro arc, given that in the first few instances we see him, Goku's analyzing him very dearly, and it looks as if he can use Ultra Instinct, which is then later revealed to us he can actually use Ultra Instinct. But why is that, you might ask? It's because he's an angel trainee to be more specific. Whis' younger brother, but he no longer acts as an angel, he works under the Galactic Patrol, similar to Jacko. He is the Galactic Patrol's #1, and if you process it now, Jacko be serving the whole universe. Surely he's not the one getting the jobs done. They be calling this guy Mirror. So you can imagine he's very crafty, his movements are perfect. Overall, a very good character. I don't think this guy would see a Legends Limited. He might be a sparking, but if he did get a Legends Limited, it would be cool. But with him having Ultra Instinct, it gives us potential to get another character that has Ultra Instinct that isn't Goku. Like, yeah, we have Whis in the game already, but they treat Whis as more of a supporting role. And that's based on him being so overpowered in the series. They don't really add value to him or try to make him take the spotlight from our main cast. He's an attendee to the God of Destruction Beerus. But with Beerus, he plays a very pivotal role in training Goku and the progression of the arc with their battle against Moro. It would be cool to get a sparking Beerus with the Ultra Instinct gauge, and I think a lot of people would be happy with that, just based on the idea it's not Goku, but the Ultra Instinct gauge can get quite annoying, I'm not going to lie. Now, it should go without saying, we are going to get a Goku, and many of them from this arc. And there's a lot to dive into when we talk about Goku. Goku has his mastered Ultra Instinct form, which he uses a lot more in this arc. He also advances his technique through training with Beerus, like I mentioned. A lot of the idea in this arc is that Goku should think about his Ultra Instinct form not as a transformation, but of a state of being. Whenever Goku gets a power-up, he attaches it to a transformation. So he has the Super Saiyan forms, but once he got a God Key, he attached it to Super Saiyan God. And then when he even perfected it even further with Super Saiyan on top of God Key, it then became Super Saiyan Blue. And with Goku, unlike Whis, we see when he uses Ultra Instinct, his hair changes color. So in the Tournament of Power, we have Ultra Instinct Sign, and what a lot of us refer to as Mastered Ultra Instinct when his hair is fully white. But in this arc, the transformation is referred to as True UI, which you might have heard been referred to as TUI. But one thing I'm very much looking forward to from this arc is Goku using an actual Susanoo. If you don't know what a Susanoo is, it's like this astral projection that the Uchiha clan members in Naruto can obtain. But in the Moro arc, Goku literally astral projects himself so that he can match the size of Moro, given that Moro becomes extremely large based on him absorbing energy. In a legendary finish, it would be one of the coolest things ever to see. But also just the way Goku transforms into Ultra Instinct in this arc would be a good starter, the ink art I'm referring to, as an Ultra. I saved the best for last. We gotta talk about Vegeta. Vegeta's character development in this arc is absolutely insane, and he gets a lot of abilities. Like I mentioned earlier, this arc is pretty creative that make him seem a lot more versatile than his general nature. Vegeta's a get out the mud type of guy. He always hits the grindstone, and by pure hard work, he will achieve new power-ups. But in this case, he gets a pure training arc. He didn't want to be just like Goku, and he's able to get an ability called Spirit Fission, where every time he punches, he takes away the energy from that person, while also doing damage since he is punching them. It's literally a 2-in-1. He does this in his Super Saiyan Blue evolved form, which we do get to see a lot more of in this arc. There is also a God Key variation of Vegeta in this arc. By that I mean Super Saiyan God, which is nice, and I hope that gets adapted into the anime because we need more representation of it. Overall, Vegeta's putting up crazy numbers here. Though he doesn't get the arc finisher, he did a lot more than you would expect him to do given past arcs, and he gets a lot more focus than he usually would. So for me personally, this is where Vegeta really becomes one of my favorite characters. I could easily see him getting an Ultra, a Legends Limited 2, and if you're wondering if he gets the Ultra Ego transformation in this arc, unfortunately not. It's the following arc, the Granola the Survivor arc. But we got a few more years I think before we get that. To finalize, I'm not going to talk about this in large detail, but a lot of the characters that we all love get some screen time because of the way the arc progresses. So I'm talking Gohan, Piccolo, Tien, Krillin, Android 17 and 18. They all get involved and all have scenes where they're using certain moves. This should have been quite obvious when I mentioned 7-3 being able to copy a lot of those characters' abilities. So there's a lot of potential for sparkings, free-to-plays, etc. And that's not including the randoms that are on Moro's side, as he broke out of a prison, thus having a lot of underlings that aren't actual bums, you could say. I guess they are, but they're going up against the side characters, those that I just mentioned earlier. Obviously not on the level of Goku and Vegeta, but still something that has to get broken through. You could say a fork in the road, but that's about it. That's going to make the end of the video. Let me know in the comment section, like I said at the start of the video, which character from the Dragon Ball Super Galactic Patrol arc you are most looking forward to. I said I would tell you which one's my favorite. The one I'm looking forward to most is that Goku Susanoo. I am not going to lie. When I see that as a legendary finish, I will be moved. I will be moved. I would need that character by default. But I think this would be the first time that I'm really looking forward to an SSBE Vegeta, a Vegeta in general. Not many forms of Vegeta really move me, me, but in this arc, Vegeta had my heart. I would say he's my favorite character in the entire arc. And if you guys know me, I'm not easily moved by Vegeta. I feel like a lot of his problems are self-inflicted, but in this arc, he did a lot, man, and he held my respect very easily. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you haven't already, make sure to press the subscribe button. We're on this grind to 200,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys for watching, man. My name is Zakashi, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man.